Hi friends, welcome back. So in this video, I'll be discussing about few important basic interview questions which you should answer whenever somebody asks you in any software testing interview. The first interview question is how many test cases you can write per a day? If somebody asks this kind of question to you, what will be your answer? Answering I can write 5 test cases, or I will be writing 10 test cases, or I will be writing 15 test cases, or I will be writing 100 test cases. On what basis you are going to tell to the interviewer that you will be writing these many test cases? You cannot go and blindly tell I can write these many number of test cases, because in order to write a test cases, there are a lot of dependencies will be there. What kind of requirement which interviewer is talking about, whether it is a UI or a backend or a functionality and so on. Based on the requirements, we can decide what number of test cases which we can write, and as well as what kind of domain which you are going to test it, whether it is an e-commerce domain, big data, artificial intelligence, mobile apps, and so on, as well as the complexity of each requirement. Unless your interviewer does not talk about any details about requirements, details about domain, and complexity involved on each requirements or an application, definitely you should not answer any particular number of test cases. And also how complexity and whether those requirements or user stories are easy to understandable or not. That is also very crucial in order to answer these questions. Unless if they are not providing all these answer to you, you should not go and tell any particular number. There is no hard and fast rule like these many number of test cases only I should write every day. Then the second interview question is how many number of test cases you can write per a given requirement or a user story in that matter. Here also there is no hard and fast rule. Here also you should not go and answer I can write 1 test case per requirement, 2, 3, 4 and so on. There is no hard and fast rule is there. With a given rule of thumb, minimum 2 test cases which we can write, which is straightforward positive and negative test cases, and it can go up to 4 test cases as well by considering boundary conditions, equivalence, partitioning cases, up to maximum 4 test cases which you can write. Again, each requirement is again a complex, and if it is broken down into further detailed sub user stories or sub requirements, then again your test cases will grow up like anything. At least basic minimum is 2 to 4 we can easily write per a given user story. How many number of test cases can you execute per day? Again, this is also a very crucial interview question, and whether can I go and execute 10 test cases per day, 20 test cases per day, 30 test cases per day, or 50 test cases per day I can execute every day. Is it possible? Now again, in order to understand this question and in order to answer this question, you should get a detailed answer. What are the various prerequisites you should make up in order to execute the test cases, as well as what kind of environment preparation we will have to make up to execute each test cases. That is also important, because the additional time will be taken up for executing those test cases which required higher prerequisite. And if it is just a UI functionality, it is very easy for us to just follow the steps and we can get it done. And if it is a backend, if it is backend test cases, then again a complexity increases. You will be required to have a knowledge of testing databases, writing SQL queries. Again, based on that also the number of executions may depend, or it may increase or it may decrease. Again, the business functionality, if it is too much complexity, the business functionality, if each test case covers 100 steps or 50 steps or 200 steps, then amount of executing those test cases also will increase drastically. Based on all these information, you can arrive per test case how many hours or how many minutes you will be taking it out. Based on that, in a given day, you will be working around 6 to 7 hours, remaining 1 or 2 hours for your other jobs like attending any meetings or drafting emails or sending notes to your leaders and so on.